Season 7 of Sun Coaches Podcast is proudly brought to you by Titan Sensor. Season 7. That was my number in high school, so maybe this will be lucky for us. We'll see. You know, I've learned over time that when somebody's talking about something you really don't want to talk about, you just can always throw in there, hey, I knew this guy once, and then just pretty much make up whatever you want to, and they won't listen to it. They'll get off track. And you don't have to talk about the uncomfortable thing anymore. Coach, like we do every week, tell everybody where you grew up and where you're from. Sun Coaches Podcast, where not everybody has a funny story, but everybody has a story. Hope you enjoy Season 7 of Sun Coaches Podcast. Sun Coaches is proud to partner with Titan Sensor for Season 6 and 7. Titan is made in the USA. Proudly founded and based in Texas. When you connect with Titan, you are not alone. You can collaborate and share templates with other coaches across the country to build reports and foster competition. Used by programs such as State 6A Georgia State champion Grayson High School, Titan can tailor a package to fit your needs. The eye in the sky never lies. Improve your team's performance with Titan. Welcome to Sun Coaches Podcast, Season 7 in the premiere episode. Today, I'm excited to be joined by the head coach of the Griffin Bears, Coach Bernard Goodrum. Thanks for being on with me.
Coach, thank you, man. Avid listener. I'm subscribed to the pod, man, and I love it, man. And I really appreciate you having me on.
Man, if I had some sound effects, I'd make one of them cool sound effects like they do on the Real Nice podcast. But as I haven't figured out how to work all this stuff, I appreciate that. And like I do with everybody, man, where'd you grow up and go to school?
Coach, man, I'm born and raised, man, Griffin, Georgia. My folks are from here. I went to Spalding High School. Graduated in 2008. Played football, basketball. I ran track as well. I was a decent little football player. Had an opportunity to go to Fort Valley. I walked on at Fort Valley in 2000 after high school, after 08. And I played linebacker there from 08 to 12. And had an opportunity to sign a professional contract. I signed a pro contract to the IFL and got drafted to the Sacramento Warriors for $225 a game. So I decided I thought coaching probably was a better option for me than trying to professionally.
My grandparents lived in Griffin for most of my life. My grandmother was the arts and crafts lady at the Walmart. They're in Griffin, and yeah, I got kin folks there. As a matter of fact, my uncle graduated from Griffin High in like 82, 81, 82. And I just remember as a kid going to that stadium and that Bears eyes lighting up. And, you know, they did that at graduation. And I was like, man, this is a cool place. It's just grown so much since I was a little kid. And I'm sure since even when you were a kid that it's just a totally different universe than the one you went to at Spalding, which I know Spalding didn't even exist then.
It didn't. A lot of tradition. What we play at now is actually my middle school. It was my dad's high school, and my uncle is a legend here, Johnny Goodrum. He's an old track coach. Him and Coach Ross and coach baseball as well. And he had about 3 or 4 state championships in track, and he was a principal here for a long time. He passed a couple years ago, so I'm like Coach Goodrum 3.0. My dad coached as well. He was a park and rec coach for 19 years. So I'm like the 3rd generation of Coach Goodrum.
So you didn't have much choice. You were going to get in this business one way or the other.
One way or the other, Coach. It was
in your blood.
Yeah, absolutely. But I always want to do it too. I didn't really see myself doing anything else outside of the sport. Football did a lot for me as far as just being able to take out some aggression and play with my friends and all that good stuff. And when it came time to make a career choice, some people want to be a teacher, and I wanted to be a teacher so I could coach. And I kind of knew I wanted to coach, in high school. That if I couldn't keep playing, I want to be around the game some kind of way. And so I was wanting to coach football.
Well, who were your high school coaches?
My high school coach, my first one was Kurt Hoffman.
Oh yeah, I had him
Uh,
on.
yep. Coach Hoffman was my coach in ninth and 10th grade, and then he went to Alcovey, and then my last 2 years was Tommy Gilstrap.
Oh Strap, yes sir. He's a legend, man.
Absolutely. Tommy Gilstrap. My defense coordinator was Dale Wiggins. He was longtime coach at Woodward, and he was at Mary Person, and Coach Wiggins was great. But yeah, man, Coach Gilstrap was a legend in Griffin, been for a long time, and he was my head coach for my last 2 years.
So when you got out of college and decided that you weren't going to keep playing, what was your first teaching and coaching job?
My first job was back at Spalding, so I started. I had to do student teaching, so I taught at Rehoboth Road Middle School. I did my student teaching there in 2012, and I got an opportunity to coach my brother. So I coached at Spalding. I taught at the middle school, coached at Spalding. I came back in the summer, and I met a guy named Nick Davis. He had just got the job at Spalding a year earlier, and he called me up to the school and asked me if I was interested in coaching linebackers. And I was like, yeah, coach, I am. So he gave my first job, and I student taught in 2012, and then Coach Sands, he was my running back coach, Dexter Sands, when I was at Spalding. He was the principal at Kennedy Road Middle School. So I taught math at Kennedy Road for 2 years, and I coached linebackers at Spalding. And my first staff was Coach Davis was the head coach, and Ahmad Tinker was the OC.
Oh Tink, I'm a dude right there now.
Yeah, that first year. So that was a eventful year. I think we went 2-8, but I mean those guys. Um, I really appreciate all of those opportunities. I didn't really see it too much as a young coach, and knowing that those two were some of the best in the business. But being around those guys, man, really shaped and molded me to just being able to know some old school principles and knowing how to coach and knowing how to coach hard and knowing all the little stuff in coaching. Sometimes we look at the scheme, a little bit too much, and I mean, Coach Davis showed me how to line a practice field, and how to do a practice script and how to put together my ND and my EDD. I had no clue what the EDD was. I didn't even know what that actually meant. And those guys taught me all of that, man. So I'm very, very, very appreciative of them.
Yeah, it was his birthday today, and I made sure I texted him and told him happy birthday. I worked for him, as I told you, at Burke County, and I'll tell you something he taught me as a young coach. I was over explaining something, and I heard him yell from across the field, "Quit talking and start repping."
Coach.
He was like, just rep it, rep it, rep it. And back then, we didn't teach off the tape like we do now.
Yeah. Yes,
So
sir.
you really had to get that time in. And yeah, and I've known Tink like probably most of my life, playing baseball against each other coming up, and then getting into business about the same time, and just great guys. And it speaks volumes of what Coach Davis must have thought of you for him to let you coach the linebackers when he was a All American linebacker down at Georgia Southern. So
Coach, it wasn't easy, Coach. It
no,
was
I
not
imagine
easy.
that's like the worst. That's like being the offensive coordinator for an offensive guy.
Coach, it was not easy, man. When you were telling that story, that reminded me. Man, he gave me a compliment a little while ago, and I don't even think he even knew it was a compliment. But he told me that he knew I would be a good coach when I took it personal that he took over my Indy. So my first year, like I said, he coached linebackers at first, and toward the year, later on, he kind of let me start doing it on my own, and it was the same deal. A couple of days that went by, and I was kind of, going through the teaching, or I thought I was teaching. I was talking too much, and he came over one day, coach, just took over my Indy, and I mean it. I was so upset. I mean, I can't explain how how mad I was because it embarrassed me.
Oh yeah.
I said my brother was on the team, and a lot of those guys, during that time were kids that I knew. My brother friends and my dad coached them, so I grew up with them, and it was embarrassing for him to come over there and take over my Indy, and I took it personal. And, I never wanted it to happen again. So he seen me We talked about a month ago, and he was like, "Man, I knew you would be a good coach one day." When I took over your Indy, man, I thought I almost had to fight you because you were there.
Oh man, he's something else, man. I appreciate
Yeah.
his friendship and everything he's done for me over the years. So you started out at Spalding and you were there for 2 years. Were you there only for 2 years or did you stay longer than that?
I was there for 3 seasons, so two and a half. So really, like 2.5 years, and then I left in January of 2015. I joined Neil Brown's staff at Troy, University of Troy, and I was a weight room GA. I was a strength and conditioning GA with Raphael Horton. Raphael coached me. Coach Horton coached me at Fort Valley. He recruited me at Fort Valley, and then he was my strength coach there. During the time that I was coaching at Spalding, he went to Kentucky, and he was an assistant there. And then obviously when Neil was hired from Kentucky to Troy to be the head coach, he brought Ralph with him, and Ralph allowed me to come be his GA. So I went to Troy from 2015. I was there 2 seasons, 2015 and 2016. And we went from I think 3-8 that first year to 10-3 that second year, and they had about 3 or 4 10-win season after that.
Man, Coach Brown's one of the most cerebral and intelligent humans I've ever met.
Oh,
He seemed like a really good dude when I met him at a Coach of the Year clinic up in D.C. when he was at West Virginia. And I mean, coach's kid, real smart. And I knew because we were sitting in there with like the head coach from Princeton. And Coach Brown said, "Yeah, I had an opportunity to go to Princeton, but I decided, I didn't want to have to I didn't know if I could handle the schoolwork." I'm like, "Man, please, if they were going to let you in there, you must be pretty doggone smart."
He definitely could have school call. He was the first person I called, or the second person I called when I got the job here. I thought he did a great job of branding when we got to Troy. Troy and Griffin kind of reminded me a lot of each other. Troy was a really successful Division II program, and then of course when Larry Blakeney got to Troy, I mean they had Osi Umayura and my man from Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna hurt myself for not remembering his name. DeMarcus Ware. I mean they had a lot of really good players, and they were really successful for a long time. But towards Coach Blakeney's end of his career, Troy had kind of went down, and when Coach Brown came in, man, I thought he did a great job of branding. Talked about rebuilding the wall and the whole story of Troy and everything, man. He did a great job of just turning it around and I called him. He was one of the guys I called, when I got this job, and just kind of asked him to just talk me through some of his thought process and kind of, how he looked at Troy and what he thought he needed to change. And I tried to include some of those things here as well.
Well, how'd you enjoy GA, and did you think that was something you wanted to keep doing, or did you decide you wanted to eat?
Oh, man, I got paid. Me and my wife was talking about this last night. I made $7,000 a year for 2 years. I made $14,000 in 2 years at Troy. Maybe a little bit more because we got a camp check, so maybe I made $16,000 in 2 years. So it was not a lot of money. I had just bought a car. Um, I had just bought my first car, and I mean, I just got my job at Kennedy Road teaching math, so I was really excited to be able to have some money. I didn't. My parents aren't wealthy, man. They spoil us with a lot of love, but it was cool to be able to buy some shoes and buy a car and do all the good stuff, and then to go from that to, about um, 250 a week and probably less than that was a change for me. But I enjoy GAing. I had an opportunity to GA in a lot of different areas, which I think kind of helped me, especially defensively. When I first started, we had a whole room of GA, so I wasn't a quote unquote football guy. So I would John Summerall, he's not the head coach at Tulane. He was really cool, man. He let me come in his room, and I would just kind of come in with a legal pad and just listen to all the linebackers and just listen to his meetings. And this when I was a weight room guy, and I was kind of going there and listen to his meetings and write down everything I could. And GAs, we couldn't sit at the big table with all the coaches. So I kind of got in good with some more of my GA, colleagues, and I got one of the guys to give me a playbook. Because I always wanted to do the football deal. I was in the weight room, so I got him to give me a playbook. And while we were having our staff meetings, I would just kind of like a kid, man. I would just kind of write down the plays. I would write down what bench four fifths was and what Cajun six read is, and I would just write it. Like just write it over and over again. Um, and then finally, I say finally, but a guy left. Josh Johnson, he left, and he ended up going to Henderson State to be a DB coach. And we had an opening right before camp. And Vic Conan was defense coordinator at the time. And I had expressed to Coach Brown when I first got there that I really, really wanted to coach football. I was going to do the strength and conditioning deal, but that was just to get me in the door. But I really wanted to be a football coach. And when the opportunity came, Vic interviewed me, and I showed up with a suit on, and he laughed at me. He like, man, you're never gonna wear that again. You're never gonna wear a suit. And I was in, and he was like, hey man, just show me what you know. And but luckily, I had been drawing the plays already, so I drew up our day install, our day one stuff, and he was cool with it, and he allowed me to come in. He allowed me to come in GA with him, which was probably the best year and the worst year of my life. I realized that I knew nothing about football. I thought I did. Thought I was a good coach. Thought I knew ball, and I knew nothing. Now we played NC State the first game, and that's when they had Jacoby Brissett and a couple more guys that played in the league. I single-handedly lost that game myself. I was in charge of scout cards and scout report, and getting the scout team ready. And coach, that's when God was my man name that was at LSU, Canada. That's when he was the OC at NC State. And coach, the movements and the shifts and trying to draw that on a card just blew my mind. I had no idea what I was doing. And we got to practice, and I know Monday and Tuesday, I mean, I got cursed out and yelled at for like for the whole practice, man, because I had no clue what I was doing. And I mean, that really made me sit down and reevaluate coaching and just what I want to do and how good I feel like I wanted to be at it. And I just kind of kept working. And I never told you story to Vic, but I would like go in his because he was DC at a lot of places, North Carolina. He was the head coach of Wyoming, and he kept everything though. Old guy, man, just kept everything from years and years, and he would keep it in his desk. I would go, coach. I would go steal it and make copies. I would go in there. I would take his notebook, and I would take like call sheets and stuff, and I would go take it, coach, and I would go make copies of it. And then I just like, man, when I get my chance, I'm gonna have a library of things I know I can use.
That's right.
To be able to do it, and then it was tough though. Like I said, I mean, I was over the call sheet my first year, and I can remember, man, like we had a Rico Center that was on campus, and I was in charge of printing the call sheets. It's the same NC State game that I was referring to earlier, and all our zone pressures were pink, and I think the base calls were black, and something else was purple, and something else was green, and all the calls were color coordinated for him, and I couldn't get the shade of pink right for him. So I turned the call sheet in Friday morning before walkthrough, and it wasn't right. Or before meetings, and it wasn't right. And so after meetings, he was upset. So that's not the right color pink. I can't see that. So I played with the pink for a minute, still couldn't get it, and then I did it before they left on Friday. It still wasn't right. So I like coach. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know any other shades of pink. And he said, well, you got to figure it out or you're fired. So I went to Rico, man. I went to Rico, and I asked the lady, I said, give me, like, I took the paper, one of the papers I had stole, and I took the paper, and I said, can you make pink up for me, please, and let me know, like, what color pink this was, and she helped me out. So like I said, it was rough. I mean, the money wasn't great, but the experiences were cool. I'm a kid from Griffin, man. I got an opportunity to go to Wisconsin and New Mexico and Dallas, and I ain't never been to all those places. You know what I mean? I probably would have never went in those places without football. So as bad as it was still really good too. I got an opportunity to learn on some really good people.
Man, that's awesome. So where did you go after that?
After Troy, I went back to Kennedy Road. Couldn't find a job. I graduated with a master's in sport finance and management, which I found out really doesn't mean a whole lot for Georgia PSC. So I went back to Kennedy Road and I taught math for about 2 months. I got offered a linebacker job to go to Campbellsville University in Kentucky. They're gonna pay me $21,000 to come be the linebacker coach there, and I'm going to pick up and move. And I was like, I don't think that's a great fit. So I turned that job down and ended up applying for a linebacker job at Copiah Lincoln Community College in Western Mississippi. And I ended up taking that job out there as a linebackers coach, and they tricked me into being a dorm manager. So I had to end up my I had free living. So it was a JUCO in Mississippi, and I ate for free, I lived for free, but I had a house that was in between two dorm rooms. So I was in charge of the whole football dorm, and then I was in charge of a boys dorm, the gym pop dorm. Mm. And I had to do, bed checks and room checks and all that great stuff. So I coached there for 2 seasons as well. Really good experience. Worked for Glenn Davis, long time head coach in Mississippi. He was at Colin for probably 18, 19 years. He just retired this year. And his son took over as the head coach, Michael Davis. They do a really good job there. And I got the opportunity to coach some really good players. Natron Brooks played for the Falcons. He was on that team. Swayze Bozeman plays for the Bears. He's on that team. Tyrus Wheat, Cowboys. TK McClendon played for the Titans. Like, we had a really good football team while I was there. And I got an opportunity to kind of recruit as well, too. My first opportunity to go out on the road and recruit and sign some guys. And it was fun. I really enjoyed Mississippi.
Man, you've been all over the place in a little bit of time. So so after that, what'd you do?
I got married, and
that put a stop to all of that nonsense. She said, "There's some things that's got to change around here."
Yeah, I got married, and I took the defense coordinator job at Spalding University in Montgomery. So that drive to Griffin went from 7.5 hours to about 3 hours. So that kind of helped a little bit. And I was defense coordinator there from 2019 to 2021. And I worked under Tommy Wasden. He was great too, man. Really good coach, really good guy. He was a pleasure to work for. And like I said, he gave my first opportunity to be a coordinator. So that was really cool experience. Fulton was a good place as well. Montgomery was cool to live in. And I really enjoyed that experience too.
All right. So after that, what would you do?
After that, because I don't know how long we're gonna be on this on that call. Then I got back in high school and I went to Jones County in 2021, and I worked for Mike Chastain for a year. Robert Brock was the DC. Mm-hmm. I was the DB's coach, so I kind of figured I'd get back in high school. The travel deal wasn't what my wife wanted as far as us moving, and I had an opportunity to probably go to different places. I got an opportunity to go to Buffalo, and a couple more places out west, and it just really wasn't feasible for me. So I'm just get back in high school, and just be the best high school coach I can be, and stay local and do that deal. So I worked for Mike, man, and Jones County is a machine, man. They did a great job, man. Mike was a pleasure to work for, and Jay Floyd was the strength coach, and Coach Floyd is one of the best in the business. Learned a lot from him on how to structure, your classes in the weight room, and kind of a 5-day split, and what we did weight room wise, and and Mike, what he did structurally, just having your freshmen in one period, and then having your older guys at the end of the day, and Coach Brock was he was really good with 3 down front. So there was a lot I learned from that, and just overall practice structure and just kind of how Jones County was ran. We had an opportunity to go to the Elite Eight that year. We won the region, and we lost to a really good Warner Robins team in 21. I want to say Warner Robins going to win the whole thing in 21.
They did.
Yeah, they were really good. They were really good, and we lost them in the Elite Eight. I got an opportunity to get my first head job at Best Academy in Atlanta. So I left Jones County after one season, and I was the head coach at Best from 2022 until just recently leaving and coming to Griffin in 25.
Man, whirlwind.
That's a lot, Coach. Yeah, I know it's a lot.
It's awesome because those experiences are invaluable. I mean, it's like I tell people all the time. I don't have any regrets because you wouldn't be where you are now if you wouldn't have done and been through what you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn something from everywhere you go and everybody you come into contact with. And if you don't, it's your fault. And just the experiences that you've had is just that now you can pour into young people, and you did it at Best. You did it at Jones. You did it at Best. Spalding way before that, and you went off and chased it for a little while, and now that you're coming back to pouring in. So what was like your first head coaching job at Best? I always ask people that. Your first head coaching job, you think you got it. It's like drinking water out of a fire hose, ain't it?
Coach, I ain't have a clue, man. I didn't have a clue.
Football part's easy.
Football part's easy, coach. And people say that all the time. I've been a lot of different places, and people have been head coaches on staffs, and people say that all the time. But until you really, in that seat, you really don't understand it. And you realize how fun it is just to coach football and not have to worry about
everything.
Everything else. And football becomes that much more pressure to be able to just like do that. I used to always wonder because Coach, like I said, Coach Wiggins was my defense coordinator in the high school, and then he coached my brother. He's my brother's DB coach, and then he was on staff when I got there and started my high school coaching journey. He used to always be like, "Coach, man, this is just so refreshing." I was like, "Coach, man, you are an old head coach. You are an old coordinator. Like, how are you cool with just being a DB coach?" And Coach, I get it now. I understand what he was talking
about. Now you know what I be talking about when I'm like, I just coached the offensive line and let it be.
That's it, Coach. That's it. It make a lot of sense now. Make a lot of sense.
When them parents get fired up, or if some teacher or something, I go, well, hold on a second. The man you're looking for is right over there. I don't. No, I mean, we laugh about it, but it's a great challenge, and it's a testament to use guys. Your guys' ability to lead and have a vision for a program. So when you took over at Griffin, you're coming home. It's your hometown, and you got family that played there, uncle that's a legend there. So when you came in, you said a lot of the ideas you got from Coach Brown at Troy on rebranding because Griffin had fallen on some hard times, and you're trying to bring it back.
Yes, sir.
Because there ain't nothing better in Georgia high school football than when Griffin High School is good.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
So when you came in, what were some things that you thought, your spin on the program and things that are pillars of your program that you're trying to instill at Griffin?
I mean, we Griffin has always been known for playing really good football and having good players, but just playing hard and being tough. And I kind of did my rebranding deal with Return to G, and just kind of talked about the tradition and kind of what Griffin has been in the past, and just trying to bring the kids and the community back into remembrance of everything. It's okay to have an opinion about how your football team looks, but I can remember being a kid and just seeing tremendous support as well from the community and from everybody involved with stakeholders and everything, and just trying to bring all of that pride back, and just trying to bring the kids into remembrance of what Griffin is and what Griffin was. Coach Fed did an amazing job. He helped to bring accountability and discipline into the program and all of those great things. And Coach Fed is a legend as well in his own right. in the state of Georgia. And he's done a tremendous job in every place he's been. So following him was I mean, difficult is probably the wrong word, but um, following him and not trying to, saying return or G or return of whatever else can kind of offend some people. And when I got the job, I wanted to make sure that I told him and anybody else, I'm not trying to offend anybody by saying this, but this is to me, this is what our program needs and what I want to run it on. This is how I want to look. I want to bring the old alumni back. I want people to come back to the games. I want people to be involved. They can't coach now. I was very clear about that. You can't coach. You can come out and support these guys, but I just really wanted to bring the community involvement back into it and just bring these kids and the community back to what Griffin has been and what will be in the future.
Well, I imagine at Griffin, like you did it best when you walked in day one. From a football standpoint, what's some of the first things you look at when you come in and you're like, all right, doggone it, they gave me the job. I got the keys. The car's mine. This is how we're gonna drive it. What do you start off with? Is it the weight room? Is it staff? I mean, what in your opinion, what works for you?
That's a really good question. Probably both of those things. At best, I was following Joshua Moore, who ended up being my AD there as well too, and he just helped me out with so many things from an admin perspective and just knowing um, you know, legally how to kind of handle some things. Um, but at best, I had to do a lot. I was a sprint coach. I ran the weight training. I did the practice schedule. So all of those things were kind of stuff I was used to already. And coming to Griffin and having a bigger staff, I had to learn how to delegate more and then really be able to kind of explain myself a little bit more and kind of what I wanted and then trust people to really go out and do the job that you asked them to do. So the first thing is staff. I'm a defensive guy by trade, so I knew I had to hire a really good OC, and that was my first objective. The weight room wasn't really. It was something I knew I could do. Until I was able to kind of get a sprint coach in or kind of get somebody in to fill that role. I know I could get them strong, get them big, get them confident. But I know I can't call offense. I tried that a couple times, and that's not I can't do that. So finding the OC was the biggest thing, and I ended up getting Coach Owens, and he's been tremendous for us so far. Man, he's done a great job, and he's been well versed as well in the state. And he knows his stuff, man, and the kids are excited about doing and playing it. And the second thing is for me was facilities. I mean, we got a lot of office spaces and Griffin High at the time when when the building was built in '87, it was probably the biggest high school in the state, if I'm not mistaken. It may be one or two more. It was bigger, but it was definitely one of the biggest in the state. I mean, the gym was top notch. I mean, everybody used to come and see Who Rock Hancock, so the gym was top notch, and really all the facilities in the school was nice, and it hasn't really been a lot of renovation since that time. I mean, obviously, locker room has gotten bigger, weight room kind of stretched back a little bit more, and we've gotten some new equipment since then. But just trying to get the kids to take pride in the G, but also taking pride in the small things that they have as well too. So keeping the locker room clean and just teach them small things as far as making sure that their area is up to date and I really think that we take care of the small things, we'll be able to get the big things. So just trying to upgrade our facilities and upgrade our weight room and just different things I thought that we needed to have in order to be a stronger program. So those two are probably the main two things. Trying to get an OC and offensive staff, and then just from a facility standpoint, just trying to clean it up and just make sure that we're taking care of our stuff.
Well, how did you approach spring your first year in at Griffin? Did you do the scrimmage in the spring, or did you take the two scrimmage games for the preseason?
I took the scrimmage in the spring, so we went against Upson Lee and Coach Elder, and they gave us a eye-opening experience. Upton Lee's a really good football team, and those guys down there do it the right way. They got a really good OC. He's a former Griffin Bear. D line is also really good. The D line coach is also a former Bear as well too. Those guys do a good job, and I probably won't do another spring game. Honestly, I think I'm trying to probably get away from that. I listened to Coach Brown on your podcast a little while ago when he was saying that they do an inter squad scrimmage, and I think that just kind of is the way I'm probably headed in the future. Just doing a green and gold game, and do your fall scrimmage and kind of get ready to roll. I know everybody was excited when it first started being able to scrimmage people in the spring, but it's just tough, man. When you play locally and kids don't really get as much playing time as they want and don't play as well as they want to, and you're trying to fight it during day hit week and trying to make sure that first week of June they show back up.
That's right.
If it don't work out how they want it to work out, in spring, and just doing a green and gold game or doing the inter squad scrimmage is it's safer, I guess, in some regards, and it can still be fun too if you kind of add some incentives into it.
Right. And when you were growing up, and definitely when I was growing up, Griffin was still kind of its own place and out in the country, and now it's been swallowed up by South Metro.
Yes,
you don't keep these kids happy these days. Like you said, they come back from the dead week and they go ghost, and you can't find them, and they on somebody else's roster.
Yes, sir.
That's hard. So how did you approach summer this year? Like, what all did you guys do? Did you go lots of 7-on-7 OTAs, or did you stay in house and work on the Bears?
We did a little bit of both. I think July, we kind of stayed in the house a little bit more, but June, I really wanted the kids to experience a lot. They weren't really used to going places. I think Coach Fed kind of took the other approach, and and they didn't go anywhere. They just kind of worked on the Bears the whole time, and we went to Georgia this year, and we went to Georgia State, and we had an opportunity to do an OTA or a team practice versus Baldwin and Salem, and just different schools, Eagles Landing. We try to go somewhere or have somebody come to us at least once a week to play football. I got that from Chastain. He always used to say, man, the best way to get better at football is to play it. And putting these kids in different situations and putting them in different against different teams. And that was kind of my mindset in June, was to play as much football as we can, evaluate the kids, and then come back in July. And then, really, really kind of after dead week, get back into some real football and being able to grind it out and just kind of get ready. And then we did an OTA at Spalding with Coach Davis and Coach Stevens, and we went over there and did the last of the hard OTA in July, which is always a good deal, always a good time. But that was the only OTA we did. No, we didn't. We went to North Atlanta. I'm sorry, we went to North Atlanta in the end of June too. We went up there. It was North Atlanta, South Atlanta, McNair, and I'm missing one school, but that was a pretty good one too. So yeah, we just kind of try to take them places and experience it, and I thought I dropped the ball at best with that. I thought I kind of didn't allow those kids to experience enough sometimes, and trying to get better so much. I think we forget that these are. I'm gonna speak for myself. I mean, maybe I forgot that they're 14, through 18-year-old kids, and win, lose or draw is about the high school experience. And I just wanted to make sure this time around I provide these guys with the best experience possible.
Well, absolutely. That's something that I believe wholeheartedly is probably one of our biggest jobs, is making sure they have a good experience. We can't guarantee they're going to win. We can't guarantee they're going to win a ring. We can't, all we can do is love on them and give them what we didn't have, or give them what we had, at least what we had, and try to give them a little bit better. And experiences are definitely a part of that. And part of building your program too is when you go on those travel things, is getting them ready for down the road in the big picture. For the, we're going to have to travel to an away game. We may have to spend the night somewhere, and we're going to have to go deal with adversity in other places. And I think that's important. You kind of have to learn how to do that.
Yes, sir.
Sir. And providing those experiences definitely does that. Well, at the time of the recording, we are about to enter week 3. So who did you guys open up with?
we opened up with Tiff. We had to go to Tiff, and we were up the whole game. They scored first. We ended up losing 35-31. They scored first, and after that, we were up the rest of the game until the last 2 minutes. We got a big defensive stop with about 4 minutes left in the game. Came out and they punted, and we got a 15-yard gain off a jet sweep, and they called us for holding, and that kind of derailed their drive. And Tiff, they got a really good football team, and they're really well coached, and they drove down the field on us and ended up scoring and left us with about a minute left in the game. So we lost that game 35-31. And they got kids, kind of were surprised we were in the game. I mean, it was several comments during it that they didn't, really believe. You kind of go through it, and they kind of talk a good game sometimes, but I don't know if they really believed that what we were selling was actually going to work. And it hurt them after the game, but the community was really high on the fact that we looked better. And I mean, just like Coach Saban said, man, I think we ate the rat poison. And in week 2, Coach Rogers and Sumter came to town, and they made us remember, that we got a lot of work to do. So we lost our week 2 game versus Sumter 42-13. And Coach Rogers, they have a really good team, man. They got some guys on that are really good, and they do a good job, and they're very well coached as well. And our guys won the game again. It was 14-6 right before half, and we ended up throwing the football, and instead of being 14-6 going to halftime, it's 21-6, and they block a punt, and the game kind of got away from us after that. So we're in the bye week now, and we'll have Spencer next week, and we just try to take this week to work on us, and to get the kids to understand, they're gonna take some work. There is no magic pill, for development. There's nothing that you can do that's, gonna be, a game changer as far as what turns it around or what turns your season or what turns your program. It's the hard work. You got to keep showing up and just fall in love with the process. And cliche as it sounds, just fall in love with the process of working hard, and just understand that's the magic pill is continuing to show up and work, and as coaches, us making sure that we're doing our job in coaching and putting them in situations that practice are tough that they got to try to get through, and just try to simulate as much adversity as we can, which is what we tried to do this week. And I was pleased with how it went this week. So I'm excited about playing Spencer next week. I hope we can get back on track.
Well, what are some things that, since you started as a player in the early 2000s to all of the college experience you've had and the different places you've been, what are some things about the high school game that's kind of changed since you first got in it that now you look at and you're like, yeah, I didn't see that coming. This is kind of different than the way it used to be.
Man, a lot. The first thing that comes to mind is just I just remember the pride of playing, where you were from. It was some pride in being from a place and playing, for that high school, and seeing the guys, older than you, them playing, and you dreaming about putting the uniform on, and that's just not the case anymore. Guys can be from somewhere else, and the allure of playing for a traditional program, especially if you're in a metro area. I don't think it happens, as much in South Georgia or one horse towns, but the
No, they
metro
can't
area,
go nowhere.
they can't go nowhere.
It's
What
too
I mean?
far.
Yeah, it don't really happen that much, but in the metro areas, it's kids just kind of like the competition a little bit is they kind of want to team up with each other, and instead of trying to beat each other, they want to hop on the same team and be able to kind of play with each other a little bit. But which I get playing with your friends, and I understand that part, and talked about experience earlier, so I definitely understand that. But that's one thing I know for sure. That has changed. Coaching has changed a little bit too. I mean, my coaches were. Coach Gilstrap, Coach Hoffman, those guys, and how hard they coached, and the things they did, and how they instilled toughness and all that good stuff in us, and how they coached hard, and you got to be able to to really be able to be, kind of strategic a little bit with kind of how you coach some of these guys now. I mean, I don't know if some of those old school principles, will still work on some of these kids. I had a coach the other day that was talking, and he was getting to a kid, and he was like, "Man, if you don't want to be here, man, you just leave." And the kid left.
He said, "Bet."
Yeah. So, I mean, you gotta be very careful what you say, because you don't want the kid to leave. You want to challenge them, but you gotta be, really strategic in like how you challenge them, and you gotta, build that relationship with the kid first. As a coach, that word coach used to come with, instant respect. It don't really come with that anymore. You got to earn it. With the kids every day. Those are the first two things that probably come to mind. I'm sure some more. Now we got to call and be like, man, I should have talked about that and said that. But those are the two things right now off the top of my head that kind of come to mind that have definitely changed.
You guys definitely have a challenging road ahead of you with the way, society has changed over the years, and the microwave mentality of wanting everything now and quick fixes, and kids moving and shaking and going here and there, and all about the IG and whatever their posts are and social media and all that nonsense, when it just used to not be a thing, and now it is. And you have to learn. That's just one more thing you got to deal with when you're the head coach. That when you're an offensive line coach, you don't have to deal with that. But that's awesome that we have such a good group of men that are leading young men and pouring into them. And I appreciate what you're doing, and the fact that you're sharing not only the experiences you've had, but providing these young people with experiences that they'll remember for a lifetime. And I can't wait to see what the Griffin Bears bring it. I can't wait till you bring the Jeep back. I know it ain't going to take long. It wasn't broke overnight. It ain't going to get fixed overnight, but I know it ain't going to take you long. And I'm going to be pulling for them Bears every Friday night. And I just appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us.
Coach, man, thank you again. I really appreciate it, man. And next time, think about me again, man. I know you're going to be doing the coaching clinics and stuff too, man. I love speaking there as well too. But man, Coach, you do a great job, man. And I think it's a great platform for coaches just to come and share and just talk about experiences, and hopefully, like the other coaches I've said, something that kind of helps somebody else as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. Makes you, at least you feel you're not alone.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, I sure do appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.